We're starting.
We're on.
All right. What do you have to say for the people, Eric?
Hi. Good evening.
What if they're not listening to this in the evening?
Hi.
Good morning. Good afternoon. If it's late in the morning. No. If it's early in...
No, that was in the Truman Show. Good morning, good afternoon. No, if I don't see
Okay.
it.
I love the Truman Show.
I screwed up the line, though.
Anyways, people used to say when I was live streaming that I was like the live version of the Truman Show.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, guys. So we have a few names, a few more podcast names to run down today.
I don't know if I like it wearing the headphones right now.
Okay, then give me the headphones.
I'm wearing the headphones for audio quality control.
Yeah.
And it's very like Bon Jovi, like the reverb thing that's going on.
Yeah, I love it.
Like it.
I've been wearing the headphones for the last 2 times.
We're going to trade headphones right now.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay, trade.
So
Put it on me.
Traded.
Trading.
This is what's happening right now in the room.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I
like
love it.
that
I
better?
feel like a rock star, baby. It feels like a real podcast. If we could get a headphone splitter, we're both wearing headphones and we each have a mic. Love that for us.
We'll have to do some audio fixing, though. Like,
okay.
Add some real reverb. Like 80s rock reverb.
Next week, when we have our actual name for our podcast,
I feel like I have a secret.
are we going to start like stepping it up on the podcast? Like some music inserts, like some audio editing. We don't edit the show, nothing, guys. Whatever you hear here is the conversation that we've had in person. Like literally I just click export and then I press publish. So we have to make sure that
maybe we could use a compressor so that the audio doesn't like go dynamically loud when
what, Eric?
I don't know.
When what? Finish your sentence.
If you listen to last week's episode,
finish your
I feel
sentence.
Like you can finish it yourself.
If we get sponsors,
yeah,
then we could get another microphone and then we can make it even more sick and we could sit across the room from each other. Okay. Anyways, let's run down some more names.
Okay.
So we do have a name.
We have a name.
We have a name for the podcast, but we're not going to reveal it on this podcast. What we're going to do on this podcast is tell you the names that we discarded, we threw in the trash from the last podcast to this podcast, or to coming up with a name, because we came up with it a couple of days ago. Next podcast will come in.
This is the big redo.
With all the branding, the rebrand. You're not even going to know who we are. You're going to be like, okay, that's them on the profile photo. But, all right. It is what it is.
Okay.
Okay, so the names that we discarded. 75% my ideas.
I don't think any of these are my ideas.
What's 100 minus 75%?
I thought you were a math tutor.
Yeah, I was. That's the key word, was.
Oh my god. 25.
25. Okay.
25.
So,
we're going to do times tables.
I came up with this name in the middle of the week, and I was like so gung-ho on it. I was like, Eric, like, freaking get in this headspace and love it, okay? So, I came up with When Evie Met Eric, like when Harry met Sally. I know, it's so fantastic. It's really great. It like embodies a relationship podcast, which we are. We are a couples podcast, but it could also mean like the adventures that Evie and Eric go on. So it doesn't have to be a relationship podcast. It is about us and the things that we get up to, which I thought was like a perfect encapsulation of what we do on this podcast.
Yeah.
But Eric, why did you not like that one?
I would never click on it.
Because of the rom-com.
Yeah, it just sounds like a rom-com. It doesn't
Yeah.
sound like, and I'd hope that's not what we're doing here.
But that's like why I love it. What do you mean you hope?
I hope we have more substance.
We have substance and comedy.
Movie.
Listen, I get plenty of substance from rom-coms, okay? I got my whole philosophy on love from rom-coms.
I also just think it's too much about like the past. Like it's not
When Evie Met Eric.
Yeah, like I feel like there could be an episode called that. But I don't know if the whole show could be called that.
Mm-hmm. I like that for an episode name, but I also liked it for a podcast name. speaking of my whole love philosophy, I finally finished my poetry and short story anthology, you guys, the mini ebook. I'm trying to figure out Shopify, but I also want to put up an audio version. So I want to have the audio version available when I put up the PDF version. So I'm going to try and record that like tonight and tomorrow and get it up literally before October 31st, because I said I wanted it out before the end of October, and it feels good to finally get it done. And also in my most recent YouTube video called 5 Secrets to Being an Emotional Badass, I share one of my poems. I share one of my poems at the end of that video. So check it out. Okay.
Do you think you could buy like 100 cameos and get celebrities to read your poems?
Oh my God, that would be very cool. Like, just read a line.
Yeah.
Not 100, but yeah.
Well, you probably have like 100 lines of poetry in
maybe.
that book.
So then maybe I get them to read my poem.
Because they'd only read so many lines before they go into their normal cameo.
Yeah.
Eh.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be good marketing around it.
It would, yeah.
Do you think that celebrities would do that? Like openly promote something that they don't even know what they're promoting?
Well, didn't the Zach and Jay show get a bunch of cameos to sing a song or something?
But those were... No, I don't know.
They kept giving... They gave a bunch of lines.
Yeah, but it was to sing a song. It wasn't to promote, like, hey, you guys should go check out Evie's book.
No, I'm not saying get someone who's famous to promote your book.
Yeah.
I'm just saying take 2 lines from your poem, have that be included in the shout out. Be like, oh, this phrase means something to my friend.
Right.
And then you get a bunch of different people to do that.
Okay. So other names are 9 Years Later. Eric doesn't like that one because it was only 8 years later. So where I was going with the 9 years later was like Eric and I, we didn't meet in university, but we went to the same school, same program, same everything, and we could have crossed paths, but we didn't. Eric vaguely remembers the back of my blonde head.
But you don't like even numbers. So you're like, we just can't do it.
No, I was like, if it's not 9, then I don't want to do it because I don't like, I don't like even numbers. So, another one was Satisfaction. I'm like, I hate this one now, but at the time I was like, okay, you and I went to a Rolling Stones concert. Satisfaction is the name of that. Like, satisfaction, like this relationship is just satisfaction. Like, it's in a good way. Like, it's awesome. So, yeah.
I think that if you're going to go the route of like a tribute to a band, I think you have to pull a lyric that wasn't used for the title of the song.
Right.
I think a lot of cover bands do that.
Yeah. So then the next one is 8 Too Late, because it was only 8 years since we didn't meet each other.
That is better. It rhymes.
I know. 8 Too Late is good, but it also feels like negative.
That's glass half empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one was You're Not Wrong, which is a phrase that Eric and I use a lot when we're saying things in sarcastic ways. Like, Eric, you shouldn't eat those sausages because you're getting fat. And then Eric will be like, you're not wrong, but I really want sausages. It's a vibe. When I'm watching the Champions League game, I need a sausage. Okay. They get the point.
Actual conversation that we had today.
And then the last one that we had was along the same vein of like things that we say. And
I don't remember this
some type of way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because when Eric and I used to talk on Facebook Messenger when we first started talking, a thing that I would say a lot is like, I feel some type of way about, and then Eric would always call that out, like that I said that.
This is a funny line.
So yeah, those are the names that got thrown in the trash. We do have a new name, and we're not giving any hints about it. We're just gonna come out full force next week, like a Beyonce album that you didn't even know was coming, but you do now know. So you know it's coming.
We do.
Yeah,
we are in the know.
Okay, so let's talk about something that we keep putting off every single podcast.
The topic that we keep putting
off. It's not like a big thing, you guys. It's just the fact that we've been wanting to talk about how
we run out of time. That's all.
We keep running out of time, yeah. So one time Eric and I were on our way to Loblaws, and on our way there, I don't know why this like sudden thought came over me. I don't know like what the reasoning was, what the inspiration for the thought was, but I was thinking like we fantasize and like romanticize is actually a better word. We romanticize New York City and we treat it like a showcase. Even me having lived there for 5 years, but that is like a iffy 5 years. But for 5 years, I lived there. I was like categorized as a New Yorker, an adopted New Yorker, but any chance I got, I would show off New York City. Like I would show the library building and I would show the little hole in the wall and I would show Bryant Park and I would show Times Square. And in Toronto, like we don't show it off like we do New York City. I remember
where this came from.
You do remember?
Yeah, we were walking past Ryerson, and outside Ryerson University there is a bunch of little food stalls.
Okay.
And I said to you, I feel like if we weren't from Toronto, we would think this is really cool.
No, that was a different time. Because this time we were going to Loblaws and we were coming up.
No, I remember that. But the first time we mentioned the idea of like...
fantasizing New York? I swear it was on our way to Loblaws.
No, but... okay.
Because I remember it clearly.
Yeah, we've already agreed that part.
Oh, okay. So you're saying when we brought it up another time?
Yeah, but that's where it started, was like the idea that...
How could it have started if that was after the Loblaws trip?
I don't know which came first.
Okay.
But I'm saying I don't know for sure which came first, but the first time I remember it was that, because I remember going past it thinking, like, I just look at this as like this trashy area between Dundas and Gerrard.
But in New York, we would have been like, whoa, this spot is so cool. Everybody look on Instagram.
Like it's, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like, why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? Like when people travel to Toronto, they're always, hey, I said Toronto, not Toronto. When people travel here, they always show it off. And I've lived in New York more than I've lived in Toronto. So I don't understand why we don't treat this place.
It's weird because we are both from Toronto, technically. But like you say you've only lived in Toronto for a small amount of time because
I live GTA, outside of Toronto. Yeah.
I don't know. I think like I growing up is maybe different. Like if you're saying you didn't come into the city that much growing up, like growing up for me, I'd come into the city frequently. So it was not new to see what was in the city.
I came into the city a lot as a child. My mom always took me into the city. Like I know the city through her. And then I sort of took the post with the fire on it, like the torch, from her when I moved to go to school downtown. And then I started to discover the city on my own. So, like, I spent a year here, living here in residence, but then I would frequently come downtown for the next 3 years after that. And then after that, I moved to LA, and then after that, I moved to New York. So it's so far removed for me.
It's far removed, but I feel like you just become familiar with the place.
Yeah.
It's that, and...
But the thing is that I'm not familiar with Toronto.
Right, but it's the other thing, is that the you're living here.
Yeah.
So you can take it for granted that you can just go another time.
But I never took it for granted in New York City. I was always like, holy crap, this is breathtaking. This is amazing. I love this city. Like, I don't know.
But I think it's because it's an other. Like, okay, if you're on vacation, everything is something because it's fleeting.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I just never thought New York was going to be fleeting the way that it has become.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought I was going to be there permanently. I mean, you moved in and we were about to start a great life together.
But even then, to me, it was like, it's not home. Like, home you take for granted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I don't know, actually. Because I felt like New York was home. Like, when I said I'm going home, I meant New
No,
York.
but like home is where you grew up.
Okay, that kind of home. Yeah.
But
It's very confusing. Home is where the heart is.
But
right? Home is not 4 walls and a roof. Home is 2 arms and a beating heart. Let the record show that Eric is nodding his head.
I'm not entertaining
no.
this kind of conversation.
All right. Speaking of living places, I mentioned the other day that I was so jealous of my sister because, in a good way, not like, I'm mad and jealous, but like, she's just living life in Austria and she is literally traveling to Italy. She went to Budapest. Like, she is a 5-hour drive from these places. So they're super close. So on like a Friday morning, she'll be in Austria, but then on a Friday evening, she'll be having dinner in another country. And I turned to Eric and I was like, I want to live in Europe. Like, look how close all these other countries are. And Eric was like, I want to live in Europe. And I was like, what?
Eventually. I don't want it now.
Yeah.
I
at
see
some
myself
point.
being like Anthony Bourdain, like just this grumpy 50-year-old just eating all the best food in San Sebastian and all that. Like,
oh, yeah?
But I don't think it's where I want to be right now.
And then we were like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't have kids.
Well.
That's a conversation for another podcast.
Because, well. What else do we got?
New topic.
What else do we got?
All right. What is your favorite memory in our relationship so far, Eric? Guys, today, or rather yesterday.
Heavy hitting questions here.
I know. Yesterday was our 1 and 5 months. So we're almost at the 1.5 year mark. So tell me, as a
1 and 5 months?
Yeah, 1 and 5 months. 1.5, baby.
That's what you do when you have a kid. And like new parents start talking in like months to measure time instead of years.
Yeah, but I didn't say
he's 17 months old.
I didn't say that. I said 1 year and 5 months.
I know, but okay.
Eric, just answer the question.
I know, but it's not a relevant marker of time, is it?
What is your favorite memory of our relationship so far?
A year, 2 years, 3 years.
What?
That's how you mark.
Eric, are you still on the topic?
I'm delaying so I can think.
Oh, okay. I think.
What's yours, Abby?
I was just gonna say. Okay, I'll go first. Now this just came to me, so I
got one. Okay, go. You go first.
Okay, I was gonna say, well, I have 2 favorite moments, and they're both like different because one is dark.
You're gonna take mine, but go on.
One is dark and wasn't, and one isn't. So like one is, I think one of my favorite moments is you surprising me in New York City. Like, I didn't expect it, and I always do that for other people that I've only once had it reciprocated for me, which was when my mom surprised me in New York City. And when you came, like, this is romantic love. Like, none of my romantic loves have ever done anything remotely grandiose like that. And I feel like I
hope you're listening.
I feel like I always stick my neck out for people, and I do these things that, like, okay, it's because I have like rose-colored goggles on for rom-coms, and I love grand gestures like that. I love the little moments too, which is my next thing, but I also love grand gestures. So one of my favorite moments. What?
Whenever you met Eric.
Whenever you met Eric, exactly. So one of my favorite moments is when you surprised me in New York City. And then you added a layer onto that. One, I was walking, so that was even a more amazing memory because I was walking with you in New York City. It was just such a good weekend. Like, we had that parade. We tried random coffee. Like, we just had such a good weekend. And I was walking. And I feel like throughout our relationship, it's been all these trials and tests, and not of our relationship, but like of my mood because of the situation I'm in, and that just makes things not as enjoyable sometimes. And because I was walking and because you surprised me, and not only did you do that, you added a layer on top, and you came with envelopes of like a scavenger hunty thing, and I just loved it. Like, it was just like, am I living in a rom-com right now? This is amazing. My second favorite memory, like I said, I like the grand gestures, but I also really, really love the smaller moments. And one of the other moments was when we were in the hospital. Well, I was in the hospital and you came, like, I think on the phone with you talking about the amputation, like them telling me that I needed to consider an amputation, and then you being like, I'm getting on a flight, and then you being with me the next day. In January, yeah. So you came, and then I know a couple months before that, we had like lobster in the
same day.
In the hospital. Well, no, because you had slept at your parent. You did come to Canada, but then you didn't come to me that night. You came the next day, remember? Because you were you're like, I don't think I should drive tonight. Because,
oh, right, because my mom had work.
No, because you were very tired.
Or yeah, she couldn't drive me. I had to drive.
Yeah, and you couldn't drive. So anyways, I loved all of the moments that you were by my side in the hospital. Like, I think those moments just meant so much to me. And I think even though that was a very traumatic and like a time that I look back on with bitterness in my mouth, like you brought the sweetness to like the bittersweet moment, because there wouldn't have been that moment if I was never in the hospital. But also, like, I hate the moment, you know what I mean? But yeah, those are my two favorite.
Before I say mine, I think it's wild, like, retrospectively. I think we are wrong. I think that I did go straight to the hospital that night.
No, I have the text messages to prove it.
I think we're getting confused with when I came back from Europe. The other time you were in the hospital. Because I had the day off after Europe. So I would have come home from Europe, slept.
Oh, because I was in the hospital that time too. Oh, maybe. I don't remember. But anyways, we talked and then you showed up. Just to show how many times
you've been in the damn hospital.
Yeah, I know.
I would have said October because that's when Eric surprised me. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So I would have said the same thing as you, because there was like just like a pretty everyday vibe about what we did. It wasn't like this is like a trip or something.
Yeah.
Like we just went to see the Joker.
Yeah, it felt like
the Joker was on film, which was dope.
Yeah. That I feel like you've said this a lot, and other people that are, you guys that are listening right now don't know this, but Eric tells me a lot that like you like when things feel like the day-to-day. Like when you were in New York, you didn't want to feel touristy. You wanted me to like treat, like I kept saying, oh, I don't feel like we're doing enough or seeing enough, or don't feel like I'm showing you enough. And you were like, this is exactly what I want though. Like,
yeah, I think that's how you get the real like vibe of the place you're in.
Like, oh, we're staying in for a couple of hours and then we're going out and then we're coming back and then we're going out. Like, just like we would do on a normal Sunday, we would have coffee and sit in the park and talk about things. Like, it wasn't like, okay, we got to show you Times Square. Now I got to show you this place down here. And now we got to go to the Flatiron. And now we got to go to the 9/11 Memorial Museum. Like, it was very,
you can breathe, you can relax.
Yeah, it was very relaxed and breathing. And you liked that. So
I think that part of why that one is cool is obviously the surprise element. Because I honestly, there was one point there where I didn't know if I was going to get there because I was stuck in the bus station in Buffalo, and 2 buses came and didn't have enough space for me when
I know
I had a ticket. So what the hell?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I think that since you took that one, I'm going to say in the summer of that year when we went to the Comedy Cellar, and that like afternoon we just hung out in Central Park.
Yeah.
And then we went.
But didn't we get into a fight that day?
Huh?
No, we didn't.
Shut up. Let me talk.
Okay, sorry.
We hung out in Central Park. We went down to where the Comedy Cellar is, and then we just walked around and found some random Chinese food.
Yeah, that's right. Never mind.
And then we waited for the show to start, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was the same like vibe thing going on.
Yeah, the same like, okay, that we could make this a thing every Sunday, like.
Yeah, like and it. I swear that was like the. Like, not to be like bashing my hometown, but I swear that was the day of the Raptors parade, and like I didn't care.
Yeah.
There was nowhere else that, like, even though that was happening here for the first time ever, it didn't matter. I would have preferred to just be chilling in Central Park and then getting random Chinese food.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of that Chinese food, we thought we were eating human skin, but it was tofu skin. And honestly, I love Chinese food, and I really want to try like authentic Chinese food in China. But that whatever we had was just absolutely unfavorable. Like the florals, the tofu skin, just everything was unedible.
Lotus flower.
Yeah.
That's what was in it.
I hated that.
Not for me. It tasted like soap.
Okay, so I wanted to go, I feel like we're running out of time to talk about this topic, and like it would be cut short, so I feel like we should spend next episode on this. But the social media thing that I wanted to talk about was that I feel like I have a very toxic relationship with social media right now, and I wanted to talk about that, and I guess I'll just leave you on this subject. What triggered it was 2 of my old best friends when I was a child unfollowed me on Instagram. One was my very first boyfriend I've ever had in 8th grade, and the other was like my inseparable best friend when I played soccer. And those of you who know me know that like I was a huge soccer player. Like I got scouted, I got a scholarship to Italy and played in Italy. Maybe you guys don't know this. I don't know. I haven't told this story maybe? I don't know. Anyways, they unfollowed me a day apart. And
they're dating.
No, they're not dating. Even if they were, who cares? But why it triggers me so much, and again, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but why I felt so triggered was for a couple of reasons, which I will get into in next week. But both of them have unfollowed me before, and at the time that they unfollowed me, like I had fairly fresh conversations with them. Like we had just talked like the day before or a couple days before. So it was really weird for them to have unfollowed me. So I asked them, hey, why did you unfollow me? Or something like that. Like, bitch, you unfollowed me. What the fuck? Like something playful like that. And the girl said that Instagram had accidentally unfollowed me. Like she didn't unfollow me. And I was like, okay, that's fair, because I know Instagram does that sometimes. And then the guy said that his girlfriend at the time made him unfollow me. So I don't know why, because there's nothing going on. So I feel like that would be fishy if there was, but we were literally childhood friends. Like it just doesn't make sense. I'm not a threat to their relationship. So anyways, it triggered me, and I will get into the depths of that trauma.
You gotta wait a week?
Next week.
I want to help you. You need to see the light right away.
Wait, do you want us to talk about it now then?
Well, I don't know. Are we gonna do a 45-minute show today?
Why not?
I don't know.
Okay, let's talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it?
Yeah, we are where we are.
Okay.
Okay, so like I started the story off, I have a toxic relationship with social media, and I hate it. Like, I hate myself for having a toxic relationship with social media, so it's making my relationship even more toxic. And it stems from those 2 people unfollowing me. And so they unfollowed me in the past, and they both had reasonable excuses for why they did, and then they followed me right back. And this time... Yes, Eric?
I'm raising my hand.
Okay, hold on. This time, I did ask the guy because I had a fairly recent conversation with him, so it was weird that he unfollowed me again. And I didn't ask the girl why she unfollowed me, because at this point it feels unintentional. Like, before when they unfollowed me, Instagram didn't have a 2-step thing to unfollow. Like, now you have to click the follow button, and then it asks you, like, do you want to mute this person? Do you want to unfollow them? And then you have to click unfollow. So that's a 2-step process. Before, if you hit unfollow, it just went unfollow. And especially because I'm public, it unfollowed automatically. But now it's different. So she intentionally unfollowed me. The reasoning, I don't know why. I am a little bit hurt because I was telling Eric this, but I view like childhood friends as like people that you just know and you can never not know. Like, even if you don't like some traits about them, if you met a person with their traits now, like in my 20s, I probably wouldn't be friends with them because that's not a trait that I jive with. But just like your sister or your cousin or your childhood best friend, like, you're going to overlook those things because you just known them for so long that they're just your childhood bestie. Like, and that has a special place in my heart. And I still root for them. Are you trying to say something, Eric?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Say something.
We are going to need a talking stick or something because there's like 7 things that I needed to talk about there.
Okay, I wanted to get my thought off.
I know, but it was like so many thoughts that like
Okay,
I needed a
go
minute
ahead.
there. I don't even know where to begin.
Here's a pen and here's a paper.
I know, but that's like your notebook. It seems sacrilege to write in.
It's fine.
Okay.
Anyways, go ahead.
I know, but it's so nice with your writing.
Okay,
My writing's
talk,
like a doctor's
Eric.
writing. Okay. Okay. We are talking about social media,
Yes.
following and unfollowing.
Yeah.
We are also talking about childhood friends.
Yes.
Okay. What was the third thing that you were talking about there? There was just something there where I'm like, okay, I got to jump in. What was it?
I was just about to talk about the rooting for, or traits that you would that you didn't like in a childhood friend.
Right.
That you wouldn't be friends with nowadays if you had met that.
Right. I think that line is the place to start and work backwards.
Okay.
So I think that what you're saying is unique. I don't know if I'm just ruthless or if it's normal to like not really care about people who don't like have like an immediate relevance to your life.
Right.
So the idea that you are rooting for people is like an unreal level of empathy, which is like super like, I don't know, Gandhi, Mandela levels of sort of like just caring about the rest of the world.
Are you saying I'm Gandhi?
I'm saying that you probably are too empathetic to a fault because it's now causing you to feel like, why are these people not doing it back when you're at like a abnormal
that's the thing, is
high
that
level.
I didn't even finish this thought, but we had this conversation, not the full conversation, because I was like, wait, stop, let's talk about this on the podcast. But basically what I had told Eric is that I can't even bring myself to unfollow these people on Instagram because I feel like I'm still rooting for them because they are my childhood friend. I want to see good things come of their life. And I just can't bring myself to unfollow them because then it feels like I'm not rooting for them anymore, and I am. So in a way, I'm hurt because I'm going through one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, and I would want to feel like, even though I haven't conversed with them in a while, that quietly from the sidelines, by still following me, they are still cheering me on.
Well, see, I think that's maybe the other thing is I think you're probably putting more of a human currency on a social media follow or like or unfollow than there actually is. To an extent, like if you like think back when you first got Facebook and going through high school with Facebook, and it was just you added everyone, and then you'd finish university and look back to people that you had on there for 6-7 years, and it's like, who are these people that I like met in gym class or something, and I just added them, like, so that you start to collect these people. And maybe like you were seeing is people unfollowing you, whether, okay, you're talking about people who are closer than just a random kid in gym class, but still through your life then you collect people. I don't think that it's reasonable to think that the people just stick permanently. So that I think that the way it works is like you kind of have like a gravitational pull, right? So like in your life at any given moment, there's people who are closer to your center of gravity and people who are further away. Yeah. Over time, people might drift further away if there's no maintenance. And like, that's the key, is like to be a friend is something that takes maintenance.
I get that. I get that. But I truly feel like I don't have that many close friends in my life right now. Like, I have a few that I could probably call if I was in trouble. But besides you, like, you are my best friend. You know what I mean? So. But
you've been also like transient. You've gone from Toronto to New York, back to Toronto, back to New York. So,
I have. And I think that, like, is, if we're really getting deep here, like, I feel like that is the reason why my university friends haven't, like, stuck. Like, they're not relevant to me right now. They are, because I feel a type of way when they all gather without me and I wasn't even invited, and I'm like, okay, surely I'm not the only one not keeping in touch. Maybe I am. Like, I don't know. I feel like moving to New York was my whole downfall in that situation. But we're talking about unfollowing and my childhood best friend.
We are, but I think that ultimately what I'm trying to get at is if like some spam bot unfollowed you, it wouldn't matter. To an extent, the people who follow and unfollow matters, kind of.
But remember, like, these childhood friends have known me before I was anything. Like, I know it's a child thing, but, like, they liked me as a child. I don't know. Like,
but that's what I'm saying is, like, so what I was getting at with the spam bot thing is it's only partially about the unfollow. I think it's more about the message that you are receiving from an unfollow, which is the idea that, like, unfriended.
Yeah.
Like in the Facebook world, it seems harsher because it's unfriending.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what it is if, like, Instagram is your main. So my question is, I'm not sure why it should matter.
Yeah.
You say that they are someone who you've spoken to recently, and that's that's a personal thing that only you can say, is like how close you feel someone is to you. But like,
the guy I have, like, I feel like I thought that the guy who unfollowed me was like a shoot the shit type of guy. Even if we haven't spoken in 10 years, like, we go right back to being like these goofy people that we always used to be. With the girl, I think there's a lot of distance between us, but with the guy, it's been like throughout the years we've never, like, lost contact. Do you know what I mean?
Go on.
So
Go on.
I feel like I felt like very hurt when he unfollowed me, because it just felt like I had spoken to you recently. I feel like we are, like, really good friends and can stay that way throughout the years. So I don't know why you would want to not know what's going on in my life.
Do you remember last week we had the conversation about,
unless it's you,
this topic?
Posting
the
me too
whole
much.
would we still be friends with?
Yeah.
So my thinking when you asked me that question was the idea that the reason that people sort of stayed friends was the fact that they could, like, just hang out more than you can really hang out when you're, like, an adult with actual responsibilities.
Right.
And I think that has to be considered now. So it's kind of like excuse me, it's kind of like a high school reunion. So 25 years after high school, you all get together and you meet up, and then you have this mini nostalgic moment where it's like, man, why can't we just be hanging out in the basement and just, like, staying up all night talking about whatever? It's I think a bit of a false, like, realization, because you can't do that. Like, a bunch of 45-year-olds who've just been to a high school reunion can't just gather in someone's basement on a Saturday at 2 a.m. Like, that's just not gonna happen.
I mean, it doesn't have to be at 2 a.m. It could be at 10 p.m. Like, I had a friend, actually another one of my best friends, not, I guess, from childhood, because she was in the same period as my 8th grade boyfriend who unfollowed me. But her parents would always have people over when I was over. So you could still maintain relationships.
You can. It's what I meant is it's a lot harder when you're, I mean, especially if there's, like, kids and family and all that crap, because it's harder for everyone to be on the same schedule.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're in high school, there is no schedule. Like, it's just your in-school schedule, and even then you're hanging out with people. So I just think, like, the if you're stepping away from, like, a nostalgic thing, and you're thinking of it in practical terms, like, I just don't know if the thing that made you close to someone 15 years ago, when that's taken away, it really is no different than that random person. Because the question you posed to me was, like, would you be able to, if a random person was your friend now? So if your friend now was a random person, would you still hang out? And I said no, because I don't have that
I know,
time.
but I'm not talking about logistical. I'm talking about character.
Okay.
So now I feel like, what have I done wrong on my Instagram to make them intentionally unfollow me, because again, it's a 2-step process. And by the way, I never got an answer from him. He has not answered me back. So I wouldn't be surprised if he blocks me.
Well, I
only messaged him once, but it's just, I'm curious. Like, just like I'm curious when guys don't want to date me. I'm like, well, what is it about me? Why don't you want to date me? Like, show your work. And that helps. That sounds crazy, but it helps me improve as a person, and like makes me more self-aware, because then I can evaluate if what they're saying is something that I should consider about what I'm portraying to other people, or if they're just full of shit.
So, in your understanding,
Yeah.
where do people go when they're no longer a close friend? So you go through life.
They go in a box under my bed.
No, like you go through life and you become friends with people.
Yeah.
And then when you're 7 and the kid down the street is your friend, and then you go to different high schools and you don't really talk to each other as much anymore. That kid is a significant part of your life, but 15 years down the road, the reason they're significant is 15 years away. Yeah,
but I feel like they would. No, but the thing that you're missing is that it's not been 15 years since I talked to them.
No, but talking to them, I don't think is the same as the pattern or the back and forth you'd have back in the day. Like there are.
No, it's not. But I'm not caring about the high school friends that I was close to in high school and haven't talked to in 15 years. I'm caring about the people that I've maintained a relationship with over the years. Like I said, 2 of the guys that I was very, very close to in high school had also unfollowed me like a year ago. Again, I can't bring myself to unfollow them because I'm still rooting for them. They're both hockey players. So I'm like, yes, I want to see where you're going to go in your career, because at the time in high school, they were telling me about these dreams that they had. Do you know what I mean? So hold on. Okay. So I can't bring myself to unfollow them, but I also haven't talked to them in 15 years since high school. So like maybe since my first year of university. So to me, it does feel like a loss, but not as much of a loss as someone that I have kept in touch with regularly over the years.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe I just have a huge I don't give a shit factor. Yeah. Like I played soccer with a guy who's now in the NHL.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I don't talk to him.
I know, but it's not.
I haven't spoken to him since then.
But it's not the notoriety that I'm looking for.
I'm not saying that. It's just his success is irrelevant to my life.
Oh.
His success is irrelevant.
But you're not like, yes.
No, it's just like, oh, that's cool.
Huh.
But I'm happier for Joe Thornton for now playing on the Maple Leafs.
I don't know. I feel
finally
like
coming back to Toronto at 40.
When you're a kid, you share your future aspirations with other kids, and I feel like I did that. My friends did that towards me. So growing up, I want to see, like, if the aspirations that we told each other as a kid are coming true. Like, that is so magical to me, in the same way that, like, I don't want to let down my younger self either. I feel like if I'm unfollowing these people, I'm letting down the kids that we were back then.
What if it were like a TV series?
Mm-hmm.
So like there's like a theory where every few years like your friend group kind of refreshes, and some people leave, some people come in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, you watch How I Met Your Mother a few months ago, and for that period, like all you cared about was those people and what they got up to with their lives. And then when that show ended, you went to Game of Thrones, and then you only cared about what those people did.
Right, but that was a one-sided connection.
Yes, but
I get what you're saying.
No, but I mean, maybe that's the healthier way to look at it. Is I'm thinking that you're doing yourself a disservice by thinking that it should be a two-sided connection, because I think people are inherently selfish, and I think that not many people have this very like altruistic, hopeful, optimistic view of the world that you do.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that you are rooting for these people who you knew in high school who are hockey players is, I can't wrap my head around.
Why not?
It's too nice. The world isn't nice.
But I was really close with them.
I know, but like the people who
and we would like I would go support them at their high school hockey games.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
And, like,
I'm saying more people need to be like that. But you can't expect people to be like that and then be upset if people aren't like that, because I think that the natural human state is to not be like that.
No, I'm not expecting anyone to be like that. I was just heartbroken at the fact that, at the realization that it now feels one-sided.
Because you're too empathetic or optimistic or just generally nice.
Like, I don't like saying, ew. I don't like saying, oh, I'm so nice. Like, but if that's how you're categorizing it, then it's just the realization that I was looking at these people's Instagram pages and being like, I am so proud of you. This is amazing what you're doing. Like, that's awesome. And they weren't, I didn't even expect it, but unfollowing me makes me feel like they were either looking at my stuff with disgust or they were not looking at my stuff at all. And I don't know which one's worse.
I think the other thing that is weird about your situation is your Instagram is not their Instagram, in the sense that theirs is just their life.
Well, that's another thing. The girls is, the guys isn't. The guys has a check mark, like he's a soccer player, like he...
But that's different. He's not using it to leverage his career.
Yes, he is.
What do you mean?
Yeah, he's...
How do you use Instagram to leverage a soccer career?
Well, you post highlights, you engage, he also has a business, so after he plays soccer, he does editing for, like, he does highlight editing and puts together highlight reels and stuff like that. Yeah.
How the hell do you have time for that if you're a pro athlete?
I don't know. He's a goalie. He just sits in net. I'm just kidding. Okay, I don't know when he has time for that, but he does that. Anybody can make time for anything. But anyways, on that point, my Instagram is no longer my private life Instagram. And I think... It
hasn't been for a while.
It hasn't been since I started YouNow.
Right.
And so I think, like, that was the switch when I went from being active on social media, but just for leisure. Like, it was just my friends, and when we went to a waterfall, we were so excited about posting our waterfall pics together. Like, and after I got big on YouNow and people wanted to know my Instagram, that's the point where at the beginning it was okay because everyone was so interested. I had such an active audience, and then it started to be less active and less active and less active, to the point where now my Instagram following is just on the decline. It's no growth, just on the decline. So I think that was the turning point where social media started to consume me in a way that I never thought it would, and in a way that I hate it for. Like, I don't like it's a gravitational pull, because in order to promote my poetry book and show these videos that I feel like have value to people, I need to keep my Instagram active. Otherwise, Instagram punishes you. Like, taking 2 months off because I was blind was a slap on the wrist for me. Like, that was not a good idea to do. So I need to keep this platform that I don't want to be on because I don't want to feel these insecurities, or not insecurities, just this general, like, hatred for the fact that I feel like I'm doing something wrong because of not as many people liking my photos or childhood friends unfollowing me. But I also need to feed into that demon. Otherwise, I can't do the grander things that I want to do in my life, which is provide value and impact other people.
Devil's avocado.
Okay.
Remember 3 seconds ago when I was saying, like, oh, you're too nice and at fault for rooting for people. Mm-hmm. And you're like, why?
Yeah.
I think this is why, is because when people see your Instagram not just be safe Instagram, people aren't comfortable with that. Mm-hmm. Safe Instagram is what everyone's Instagram is. It's, here's my stupid travel photos, here's my stupid house, my stupid wedding. It's not like, here's content I'm creating. Here's a
Yeah.
career that I'm building. And I don't think that, I mean, Instagram especially isn't the greatest like mental health platform because of that. It's, oh, this person's in this place eating this food. Like, think about stories. Like, how many people just like, I'm at a restaurant, here's like a quick pan of the table.
Yeah.
Like, it's about showing off. It's about flexing. And I think that when you are using Instagram to cheer for people, or you're using it to create stuff that you are proud of, other people see it potentially as a flex because they have this jealous thing. So when you say, oh, I'm jealous of Kat, to go back to the earlier part, you're just jealous of Kat because it's like, oh, like, that's dope for her that she's living in Europe.
Yeah.
Whereas some people might see it as, I'm jealous of Kat, I'm unfollowing her because I don't want to see someone else having fun.
Interesting.
So when you are seeing other people being successful and you're cheering for them, I think other people see success as it rattles the cage. It makes them see the things that they're not being successful at.
I mean, I'm glad you said that, because I always hate when let's say, I don't know, somebody cheats on you, and somebody cheats with you, let's say, right? And you're like, oh, I'm with them because they wouldn't do that to me. I'm the anomaly. Like, they just couldn't have me, and I'm so great that they wanted me. Do you know what I mean? So you're never going to think that you're going to get cheated on because you think that you're the exception. And I don't want, like, my mom has said what you've said to me before. Like, she thinks that is part of the reason why my university friends didn't want to keep in touch with me when I went to New York, because of, like, maybe they're not jealous, but they just don't want to see somebody living the life that they maybe want. So, like, I don't want to think like that, because I don't want to think, oh, they're just jealous of me and that's the reason why. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's giving them enough credit or not, but it is an interesting point to look at. Also, on the note of, like, my Instagram not being I don't have a personal private Instagram account. Like, that's another thing. Another one of my friends that I met later in life, she was following me on her account that has, like, hundreds of thousands of followers, but she was also following me on her private account that she only has for friends and family. So there's, like, less than 1,000 followers on that account. And she unfollowed me from that account. And unfollowing me from, like, your private Instagram account feels like, okay, I only add people on this account who I care about, and now because I'm unfollowing you, I don't care about you anymore. It's like it's like Beyonce having a private Instagram account for her friends and family, but then she has the Beyonce account for everybody else. But I was going to say, on that note, because I don't have that private Instagram account, like, I just have one Instagram account, and that is the Evie Y Instagram account. Follow me. Then I should be treating my Instagram account as business. Like, it's just business. If they unfollow me, it's just business. It's not me as a person. It's just business, because this is technically, I'm mixing too much my business and personal life, because it is my personal life on my technically business Instagram. But
I think in your head, that's exactly the point. Is if someone doesn't buy your product, it's, oh, my product's not right for them.
yeah,
But if someone doesn't, like,
invest in my
personality,
personal
it feels
identity,
harsh.
my personal brand, yeah, it feels harsh. So yeah, I feel like I was gonna say something along those lines, but I just feel like, actually, I was gonna say, I have two friends from university who one of the girls I stayed with on our trip to LA for 2 weeks. Like, I was in frequent touch with her. We had our own Airbnb, yada yada. Like, when I posted my surgery on Facebook, she stood up for me to this asshole who was like, oh, boo-hoo, your life sucks, when I was literally talking about my ankle and blindness and all that. And she does not follow me on Instagram, but she has a big following on Instagram, and she has a big YouTube following. And I don't like, I do feel a type of way sometimes when I see her account pop up on my thing, but I also understand because she made a video on how to gain Instagram followers. She was like, you have to unfollow your friends and your family on your account if you want to grow. Like, let's say you're a photography account, then you need to follow other photography accounts, because then Instagram is going to categorize you as a photography account as well, because you're following a photography accounts are following you, and then when people follow other photography accounts, you're going to come up as a recommended account to follow. So, like, I totally understood her logic. Like, she wasn't speaking to me, but, like, I understood her logic of why she wasn't following me, because I'm not a photography account. I don't post delicious photos to look at, not in terms of food, but just, like, really crisp DSLR color graded photos. Like, she is following photographers and people who are doing really nice photos on Instagram so that she could also be categorized to Instagram like that, which has obviously helped her grow because she's got a big following.
Yeah, I think it's just that. I think it's difficult if the thing that you're using to try and push like yourself as a content creator can't be your only means of keeping in touch with people.
Yeah,
because if they don't like your content, which is fine, because content and art is subjective, then you might see it as people pushing you out rather than they just don't want to see your content on their feed.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that. I don't know if I will get over it. I'm sure with time I'll get over it, because it'll just become a thought. And I was like, oh yeah, remember in last October when they unfollowed me? Like, yeah. But anyways,
can I just say as well, if you take out the whole follow unfollow thing, like, not even knowing if someone unfollows is, I don't know, I get why it would rub you the wrong way, but then at the same time, like, if someone is actually valuable to your life rather than just a nostalgic moment, then that would come to fruition later, right? So if someone's just a nostalgic moment, like my grade 6 band, like, I can listen to the track we recorded on like reel to reel in grade 6, and just, that's cool, but I don't need to keep messaging them to be like, hey, remember that track, because it's
but that's
cool
not
memory.
what we talk about, though.
No, I'm not saying that's what it is, but I'm just saying, like, if, okay, let's say that's not what you talk about, and you say that there is value there, that could still be value down the road. It doesn't have to be ongoing value. There could be some spontaneous moment where you meet up again and hit it off and whatever.
I really need to, like, my Instagram has been a point of contention for a while because of the 2 months that I took off and because of the decline that I'm still on. Like, I feel like, oh, once I get this poetry book and people discover me, and once I stay consistent on YouTube and more people start following me on, subscribing to me on YouTube, like, then the followers will beef back up on my Instagram account. But for now, it's like a really love-hate relationship. Like, sometimes I love posting things on Instagram and I'm like, I love this. I don't care how many people like it. I love this, right? Like the food photos that I posted when I was like family photo or whatever. I had wanted to post those photos. I edited them. I posted them. And then it actually got a lot of likes for my Instagram nowadays. But, like, had it not, I would have been like, yeah, whatever. I wanted to post that, right? Like, I wanted to post a memory of our thing so I could go back on my Instagram and be like, oh yeah, this was the time we went for that burger. But yeah, I think all in all, maybe I should start treating my Instagram as more of a business account, like less personal life, more just content.
It doesn't mean you have to take your personal life out of Instagram. I think it just means the way that you see your growth on there and the people who are on there is like, I still think that I follow people because I care about what they're doing in their personal life, even if they are celebrities. Like, I follow Mohammed Salah because he used to do FaceTime calls with Lovren and record them. And they're funny. So I don't want just his professional, oh, it's great we won today. I want to see his personality. So I think you still need your personal life in your content, but I think not seeing it as damaging to your personal life when people unfollow you is the key.
You know what I did when I got this app to see who was unfollowing me, because I wanted to know, like, I had this app before and I just, like, if it was an account that I randomly followed on vacation, and because I don't like unfollowing people, I just don't unfollow them. But then if they unfollow me, I'm like, okay, yes, I can finally unfollow them on my Instagram. That's like the real purpose I got for it. I didn't want it to cause me more pain. But when I was going through the people who didn't follow me back, I went on Facebook and I was like, do I still have them as a friend on Facebook? Yes, I do. Okay, I can unfollow them on Instagram. It's like the moment that they get rid of you on every social platform, then you're like, holy shit, this person is really deleting me from their life.
Just pausing. Hear the sirens? Is the sirens coming through on the podcast?
I don't know.
All right. Do you keep your Facebook? Like, do you ever go on there?
The last time I went on, Eric, everybody was getting married and having babies, and I was like, holy crap, when was the last time I went on Facebook?
Don't go on Facebook.
Why?
It's okay. It's like Russian interference.
Hey, David Dobrik said that he was probably going to get married at the age of 28, and he's 24 now, and I'm 26. So, like, you got 2 years, bud.
I don't have Dobrik money.
Well, we will in 2 years, right?
We're on some Joe Rogan, like, marathon podcast now.
No. Okay. This is how long my live streams used to be. This is how long Call Our Daddy's podcasts are.
But you're also interacting with people.
Yeah.
Like.
But what about Call Our Daddy?
I don't know.
Yeah, anyways. All right. Eric, don't act like you don't listen to Call Her Daddy. I know you do. I listen to it with you.
But I don't know what that means. Like,
it's an hour long.
Okay.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with that information?
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to
Why is it a bad thing to listen to?
Trauma and my therapy. It was very cathartic for me to openly talk about my toxic relationship with social media and whatever else we talked about on this podcast. I've drawn a blank. All right. I'll tell you how long it ends up taking me to get over this. And go watch my recent YouTube video. It'll help you be more emotionally resilient so that if you feel these painful emotions like I'm feeling, you can bounce back real quick. All right, Eric, say your last words.
I don't know. That was a long... I hope it was good. We are where we are.
Are we going to listen to it? Okay, we're done. Bye. Bye. Bye.